Here is another example of finding side lengths in right triangles. So this time we're supposed to find u, v, and w. So remember the first corollary sort of talked about that altitude and how the altitude of this big triangle here, so which is right here, okay, this is actually going to be the geometric mean of the product of the different lengths of the hypotenuse that are created. Okay, and so basically this is going to mean that 9 squared, with 9 is the length of the altitude. Okay, so 9 squared is going to be equal to 3 times u, so 3u. Okay, and so we know that 9 squared is 81. Okay, so 81 equals 3u, and if we divide both sides by 3, we find that u equals 27. Okay, so we know that u is 27. So I'm going to go ahead and erase the rest of my red stuff here. And I'm going to maybe just cross this out and write out the fact that, hey, that's 27. We just figured that out. So go us. Okay? Let's look at the next part here. Okay? So now I'm going to look at one of the legs. All right? So maybe I'll look at this V first. Okay? So this corollary of the theorem that we've been discussing here says that this leg, the leg is going to be the geometric mean of the entire length of the hypotenuse multiplied by the adjacent section of the hypotenuse to the leg. Okay? So again, adjacent meaning connected or joining. Okay? And so now this would mean that, again, we're going to take the length of that leg, which is v squared. Okay? Well, it's actually v, and we're going to square that because it's going to be the geometric mean. And that's going to be equal to the length of the entire section. The segment addition postulate would tell us that that's going to be 30. Okay? And then we multiply that by just that little adjacent section of it, which is 3. Okay? And so this would now give us that v squared is going to be equal to 90, which if we take the square root of both sides, remembering that in this case we're only going to keep the positives, we'll get that v equals, I'm going to split this up as now radical 9 times radical 10, which we get that v equals 3 times radical 10. Okay, so I'm going to now go ahead and erase my green parts here. Okay, and I'm going to write in the fact that now v is 3 radical 10. Okay, now let's take a look at this last leg here. Okay, so this last leg, okay, we know that's going to be the geometric mean of the length of the entire hypotenuse multiplied by the adjacent section of that hypotenuse, which is just this right here. Okay, so we're going to take that length of that leg, which is w, we're going to square it because it's going to be that geometric mean. Okay, and that's of, well, the entire length there is going to be 30, right? And then just the adjacent portion is actually 27, right? So at this point, we get our calculators, and we would figure out that 30 times 27 is going to give us 810. So I get now w squared equals 810. I'll take the square root of both sides to find w, so I get w equals radical 810. Now I see this number 81 right away, so I'm just going to try to take 9 out and see what happens. Okay? Actually, that was kind of silly. I should just take out 81 and see what happens, because I know that 81 is a perfect square. Okay? So I'm going to divide this by 81, and what I'm going to get is now radical 81 times radical 10. So I get w equals radical 81 times radical 10, which we get that w equals 9 rad 10. Okay? And now remember, we can actually check our work here with the Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So 9 rad 10 there. All right, so I'm going to check my work. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right, so I'm going to take 9 rad 10 squared plus b, which is our other leg. I'm going to say 3 rad 10 squared, and that has to be equal to c squared, which is going to be, the entire length of that is going to be 30 of the hypotenuse, so that has to be equal to 30 squared. Okay, so 9 rad 10. All right, oh well, 9 squared I know is going to be 81, so this is now 81 times 10 plus, okay, 3 squared I know is 9, and then rad 10 times rad 10 is just 10, so 9 times 10 equals 30 squared. and 30 squared is going to give us 900. Okay, so 81 times 10 is 810, plus 9 times 10 is 90. Does that equal 900? And we know that yes, it does. It checks out, so we know that we got all the correct answers here. Okay, I hope this extra example is helpful. I'm sure it is. Okay, make sure that you look at the homework. Okay, you're not going to be able to reproduce this type of problem without doing some practice on your own.